getting better and better for this new BBL squad as they take map 1 against Fnatic. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm joined once again by Kakuka and Billy. Now, we were so hyped about Loon when we saw him on his debut, and I didn't think that he could get any better, but Billy, I was wrong. He does indeed get better.
Yeah, Loon was absolutely incredible, that map. I mean, the amount of opening engagements that he was getting, those first picks, it was just absolutely incredible to watch. And like, he was just constantly everywhere, right? One round he was peeking A main on the defense, the next round he was pushing down mid on the defense. Like, Fnatic just didn't really have an answer to those first picks that Loon was able to pick up what felt like so easily.
Yeah, and it was a very strong first half for the side of BBL. I think that they understood the assignment, they understood the composition that Fnatic were playing and what they were lacking. No Sentinel. What does that mean? How are you going to fight for mid? How are you going to fight for it? And also with the incorporation of the Sage, Astra Sage, you're going to have a hard time attacking and executing. You have to fight for some of the control. Do not get me wrong. We saw on that second half what Fnatic plan was on the defense. And I think that it is a very good curated plan. I'm very surprised by the level that we saw from Alpha with the Tejo, how reactive and quick he was in some of the decision making. But still, even with that, BBL understood how they had to play against it and how to trick their timings against the retakes from Fnatic.
Yeah, I think to that point, the way that Kayak and Alpha were playing with each other on that A site, I believe it was, yeah, just so many like little combo plays, and the drone usage that we were speaking about as well whilst we were waiting for this match to finish. They had the Sova drone, they had the Teo drone, but then they also had Kayak's ultimate as well to go and find out any information. So yeah, a really good information gathering composition from Fnatic nonetheless.
And also a lot of people had questions about if Kayak can fill the shoes of Durka. And when it comes to debuts go, Kakuka, this is not bad at all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also referencing the time that he had during Ascension final, probably not the best, but here he understood what he needed to do and he did it to perfection. Even though Fnatic did not end up winning this map, he was there as the third drone, as we're saying, with those ultimates that I believe were super effective. Again, when we think about the retakes, some of the times Fnatic run out of time, but the plan was very good.
Yeah, and you mentioned those successes we saw on mid from BBR as well. So let's just take a look.
Yeah, exactly. So as I was saying, right, the composition from Fnatic not having that Sentinel in a map like Abyss, you have to watch out from it. Either use it or understand that your opponent is going to have an advantage there. Previously to this one, which is the last round of the half, we've also seen BBL using it. And I think that doing this on the last one keeps putting that pressure onto Fnatic that does not have a clear way to control this part of the map. And in this case, has to fight. As we're saying, Loon has very easy to get a couple of kills and just get out of there and just play from there. But in the past, we had seen them pushing time and time again. You have to keep an eye on that. And you can also not execute very fast because of the composition that BBL is playing. And I think that is what gave us that result of 3-9 at the end of the half.
Yeah, there's just something about this Abyss. Fnatic have just struggled on it time and time again. But as we move on to Fracture, this is where things should pick up a little bit for them. But also, though, if Loon was that oppressive on a map that didn't have like north, south, east, west, ditch, and all those sides, Billy, I'm expecting him to pop out of every single direction you can possibly expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm honestly curious to see if they run something similar to how Koi ran the other day with the Tejo, because they had a Yoru, they had a Brim, they had the Teo, and they were taking up a lot of A main space. I wonder if BBL's taken some inspiration from that, just from getting to see it the other day. So yeah, I'll be intrigued to see how Loon actually pops off, and if he does stick to that Yoru, or if he moves on to, say, a Jet instead.
You know what I want to know? Are we going to see Sociable back on that chamber?
Oh, yes,
it kind of feels wrong going to Fracture and seeing Yampi not on the chamber, knowing that he has given us some of the best moments in Valorant in that map. But actually, I think that after the performance that we saw in Pearl the other day, coming in from BBL and from Sociable himself, I'd like to see it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hate an Alpha chamber on the other side if we're just going to throw out the chambers here. But this is the thing, with Crashies coming into this as well, we got to mention the rope incident. Well, or some, it's an incident to some, but Crashies has traditionally been extremely comfortable on this map as well, Billy. So I think he's going to be able to slot in quite nicely.
Yeah, and I think with Crashies as well, he wasn't one of the sort of louder players in that map that we just seen. So I think he's still kind of warming up into it, right? I mean, we have to think about when was the last time he played on a stage, right? It was back in like July of last year.
Oh, so. Hey, Alpha, let's go!
Alpha on the chamber, that sounds good. And BBL bringing in the double duelist is not going to be the chamber, it's going to be Raze and Euro. The explosive power from the side of BBL is going to be massive. That's a lot of flashes, pulls. I hope that Kayak is ready to be playing against Lynn again.
The fact that it's the two Turkish players on these two duelists as well has got me so excited for BBL.
Yeah, and Perfect, I just got to say, he's a phenomenal lurker. The util's on point. He won them, what, like 5 rounds last game as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fares here.
Yeah, Yampi is still sticking to that breach. I think I was mentioning at the beginning of the match, his utility is being on point. Some of the success and some of the setups that we see. And when we're highlighting the duelists, and obviously the calls, do not forget Yampi picking up the IGL role for this BBL that is looking so good. We have to give him a lot of props.
Yeah, and of course, Boaster back on the Brimstone. It's been a hot minute on this map as well, and no massive surprise on the side of Fnatic. They kept it quite safe considering.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not going to see we're not seeing the Vice just yet in this match. At least is sticking it to the Cypher, and then on the other side, even though I expect Alpha to play a little bit more like out of pack, just by himself, just going for those early engagements that honestly you should be scared of. It is Alpha. Like this is, you can give him anything, but you will be scared of him no matter what, because his aim is just it. We've seen it for 3 years. Is never bad.
Yeah, maybe he gets unleashed as well, because on map 1 it felt like he was more on util duty than just like shoot duty.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that in that previous composition, it was kind of Kayak with, he was the only one with flashes, right? He was having to set up his own flashes, but you still seen the Alpha kind of helping Kayak. So yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be searching for those picks on his own.
Well, BBL, they're on a fantastic win streak right now. Mitch and Tom, let's see if they can pull off another one.
Well, Tom, quite the challenge to take Fnatic down. Doing it in a 2-0 fashion when you're moving on to their map pick might be even more difficult. I'm not sure if BBL will 2-0 this, but the win, it's anyone's.
But that's the thing. You look back to last year, and even the old squad was always like a solid upset team. Like it felt like they could beat anyone and at times maybe lose to anyone. But this roster is incredibly exciting, and I do have to agree. Like the two standouts for me going into this match, obviously the duelist, but more importantly, I think Sociable going back onto a more aggressive role, and then Althea on the chamber. I think that's always going to be exciting. The first bullet accuracy, so integral to playing that agent, and well, Althea has that in spades.
Well, barriers going up. BBL sending Alpha down.
He's already dead. See you later.
Althea's got nothing to say about the pistol round. Neither does Sociable.
He's too old at this point, that's what it is. Past 18, Loon's younger, he automatically gets the buff, the Turkish buff.
That's all it is. The neurons are firing faster. Well, Loon's up close with another chance to do damage. Boaster's the one to shut him down. Chronicle steps up as well. It's an even scenario. Leaving just back though. Damage done to both opponents and a shot away. But it doesn't land. It's Chronicle instead to take the kill from the grave, and Boaster to bring the defuse across the line.
Yeah, my theory went out the window when Boaster killed him. I think
What do you,
don't think that worked.
What are you trying to say?
He looks young, but surprisingly, Boaster is not 18 years old. But yeah, a big pistol round for Fnatic to take. Like it definitely came down to the wire. Like getting back in after those initial kills went the way of the attackers, and well, Chronicle having a big start to this game. Someone we know that on his day can be better than anyone. Fnatic fans will be hoping it's today.
Well, yeah, most certainly, especially after that first map opener. BBL on form, but a close pull back in the pistol round for Fnatic, an injection of rounds early on. And you take a look at BBL, not too much of an investment, but they group up, they play this one as a team, and look at the reward they get. Boaster already dropped, Althea sent walkabouts on B, shut down by Sociable. Now, what was a round in which we expect almost nothing becomes one with so much potential for this attacking side.
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. It's crazy that you look at sort of like the clutch players and individuals you have on the Fnatic side. And right now, BBL have been the ones that have been pulling out the miracles. Spoke about the lurk potential of Profek on the desk. What about the luck potential of Sociable on a Yoru? I know you didn't see that one coming, did you? Neither did I, because it's kind of weird. But oh my god, kill him! And it seems like somehow Chronicle has eyes in his hands because he was able to see Sociable just jiggling a little bit.
Eyes in his elbows. Could be. Who knows what they've been doing to the breach arms. Kind of upgrades Killjoy's given him. We're looking at the push up from BBL though. Plant. Lots of control, a ton over towards Sand as well, where it does look like Crashies could be in a bit of trouble as he swings on out. Already up close, wrapping around right behind him. Profek didn't go through the cage, didn't commit fully. If he did, a free kill awaited him. Instead, Crashies gets a second lease of life. His position now spotted. Nice shot onto Sociable, but still to deal with Profek. And the knife in the back is the most effective weapon for BBL. As Loon falls, the time though ticking away. Chronicle making this possible for the squad, but the time too far gone. 3 kills. A nice round for him. Ult online, but BBL with an immediate response. 1-1.
I have to say, like, no matter what happens in this series, I'm so impressed with the way BBL plays. You look at this team being a mix of a brand new IGL, a load of players coming up from the tier 2 and a stand-in, and the way that they're so disciplined in rounds like this, because this easily could have swung out of their control, but they're all making sure that the time is being bought off that spike. Like, everybody is willing to sacrifice themselves, but the majority are just looking to stay alive as long as possible, finding information for each other. It is incredibly impressive from, as I said, like a team that doesn't have like years and years of experience under their belt. That second round will go to BBL, and while the lead for Fnatic short-lived, they do however keep some of the guns online, and with how Chronicle started, there might be an opportunity here.
Most definitely, maybe. They're going into it. Big push. Chronicle already able to rip off one's head, and the second follows. Great damage done. BBL responding in kind. The Bulldogs left to try to make up some ground, and Boaster does a great job of it. Molly down 2, Spike obtained with a flank from back. This is the real danger if Profek can keep them back for long enough, but he won't. And now, back the knife, but he comes in a little bit too late. Over to the A site for the plant, and a 1v2. Boaster and Alfier with upgraded weapons will be coming back into him.
Had to go for a safer plant as well. Knows roughly where both players are coming from. The door sound is going to be baited by Boaster. The whole idea is to try and put doubt in the mind of Vac that maybe they've gone the other way. He gets that first kill, and he's still looking the other way. The spam from Boaster has done so much damage, but it hasn't managed to clear out Vac. He's still standing, at least for now, and it's close. But the IGL Fnatic will get things over the line. An important round and an immediate bounce back.
A much needed one. We saw what happened last time when BBL ran away with it. Fnatic started to show their claws towards the end of Abyss, but too little, too late. Now,
Through the fake out.
back on that wrecking ball quickly. Crumbling BBL's early half chances. This is 2-1. Rifles in play for Fnatic. And it all comes down to just that 1v1. The shots from Boaster through the wall, lighting back down to 12 HP. That was the real difference maker. If a few of those shots don't land, even fight, who knows where it goes.
Look at this scoreboard as well. Alfie and Kayak combined, 0 kills. Boaster, 5 kills. That's all you need to know. Leading the way. We'll see how long that lasts. I think it'll be a dangerous ground if that is how things continue. Stun dodged. Again, just back to pistols. A fair few ults close, though.
Take flight.
Showstopper, unfortunately, seems to be the furthest one away. Back solo lurk. Doesn't want to overface, but he ends up giving the kill away to Crashies.
Understandable in a round like this. We'll see those players trying to take space on their own. Now the pack is what's left. The flash was good, but Chronicle still able to deliver. That's a 3-piece. I think he was full blind for the first.
He's already on 11 kills. I think we're only just finishing round number 4. I think that's one of those things. There's certain players in Valorant you don't want to piss off. And I think Chronicle is very, very high up that list.
He might be one of them, yeah.
11-2, playing a breach. Not too often you say that. I'm thinking back to people playing this map. There was a time where Kesnit played Breach on this map, and he had a pretty good statistical performance, but I'm not necessarily sure that had anything to do with him playing Breach and more to do with him being Kesnit.
I'll tell you the advantage though, when your Breach player is popping off, that Rolling Thunder online so early on and so frequently. Chronicle will have it again fairly soon. Boaster, 5-1 start for him. That's why the Orbital Strike was there, used for early space taking and damage done to Loon. BBL sent to the other side of the map by that ultimate, but Cosmic Divide of their own is going to block out Fnatic, rob them of any opportunity to really deny this push. And with no utility on the site, there's no way for them to know when this plant is coming down. All they can do is sit. Actually, there is. They sent Crashies to step through the wall. He heard it just now. So it's confirmed for Fnatic, and that gets the push up through A main. They're going to walk right into Profect.
Yeah, he's done well in a lot of these scenarios before and already. He's going to deal with Alpha here. That stun isn't going to help out Chronicle too much just because he was so low on HP. Boaster, though, again, has managed to find a way back into the round, looking to pressure Profect, knowing clearing him is going to be so important, and that's exactly what he does. In fact, Kayak now steps up as well. And this leaves Yumpy alone. Ultimate already gone, time being bought. He goes through, but he can't quite connect that second shot. It will be the defusal coming through, and well, I have to say, in clutch scenarios, late round scenarios, Boaster has been unreal so far this game.
Well, didn't you say Yinsu was doubting him earlier, saying that he wouldn't be the one that
she said he would. He would.
Okay.
It was
I wasn't
Bea
sure.
who was doubting him.
Bea was the doubter. Wow, well, it would suck to be the doubter right now. My guy is sitting 8-1. 5 rounds into this map, Boaster showing his teeth and sinking them deep. And he's loving the feeling. We got a bop out of him. Well, a 4-1 start.
To be honest, if I was BB, I would have broken something if Boaster
Call
was
a quick tech pause. He's 8-1. He's doing whatever that move was. Doing the hoedown over there. You can't have that happening.
Unfortunately, again, BBL have been able to get through at least a round, but it came off the back of very little. They've had clutch scenarios again and again. Like you could be looking at either an even scoreline or in their favor if they manage to get 1 or 2 of them over the line, but unfortunately, that isn't the case. Fnatic are storming into the lead on this defensive side. And the funny thing is as well, is you talk about normal sort of win factors for this squad, you would be looking at Althea. He's yet to get a kill, which is very surprising, especially being on an even more aggressive agent than you'd normally see him on. Hasn't been the start. And that, if anything, that's more terrifying. If they're winning rounds before he performs, chances are if he starts performing, this could become quite a bit more dominant. On the other side, the one sort of saving grace is the ults. You've got that showstopper available. Have yourself the dimensional drift on Yoru as well, so some fairly decent combinations. And I'd say BBL have been pretty happy in rounds where maybe you wouldn't expect them to use these ultimates to try and pad the gaps.
Oh, he's not having a good time. That's all right. This too shall pass. That's all you gotta say to yourself. And for Fnatic, you know, last time they were facing down these pauses, it was not a fun situation they were in. Trailing BBL, hot on their heels. I think they were 3-1 up. And the interesting thing about the last map, Fnatic, they have the lead now, but they were 9-3 down. They went up to 9-8 and then lost every round from that point forward. Right?
Yeah.
So we've had these streaks, but in terms of going blow for blow, I haven't got to see that side of Valorant just yet. Maybe it'll be the same thing here with BBL coming back in on a light buy. Fnatic go up 5-1. Streak continues.
Yeah, I think the thing is, especially when you look at the rounds that were lost on the last map, I think a lot of them Fnatic are going to be frustrated by. Like, you had 2 rounds that ended up being lost to time. You then had 2 rounds in a row where they just couldn't quite get the defusal over the line on that defensive side, like in somewhat weird fashion. So I think that, again, like, a lot of the stuff was fixable. And you could say the same thing here for BBL. Like, we have seen rounds that have been incredibly close, but they have all gone the way of, well, Boaster in a late round clutch. The VAC 1v1, we just saw 1v1 with Yumpy as well to end out the round. If either of those goes the other way, we're talking about, okay, this is a very close map, BBL could be running away with it, but that's not where we're at the moment. Fnatic have started to show their caliber, even if it's just with a couple of the individual players, Chronicle and Boaster being the ones we're talking about here. Sitting in it though might not feel as good. Or when you've lost, as I said, 2 or 3 clutches and we're only in round 6, just sitting there for a while is never going to feel great.
No, having to stew in it for sure. But you know, like you say, for BBL, having that map already under your belt at least going to keep the morale high. One of the other things that this will get them thinking. So remember, you can't sit there chatting to each other. You can't share your ideas. So everyone's just ruminating in their own head. Dangerous situation to have.
I don't know. I feel like Bose is pretty good at charades. I wouldn't want to go against him in a game of it.
No,
let's put it that way.
Absolutely not. You pronounced that in a very British way. That was interesting. For BBL, they come into this with
it's almost like I'm British. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah, it always throws me off.
It's madness.
From East Cork, this man is. The depth of buy we expect from BBL, not much. But last time we saw this, Tom, thinking back to the previous map, they came in with a couple ultimates. We said, well, you know, we don't really expect to see them use them here. Immediately, Loon popped his dimensional drift, went to backside, got a little crazy,
got one
as
with
per usual. Yeah. And then they end up winning the round off Hunter's Fury late play. I think that there's no situation in which for Fnatic you come in just thinking, all right, we got a couple easy rounds here. There's always a barrier that BBL are going to be putting up. Been doing a remarkable job so far, and like I said, I'm really impressed by the turnaround of how little prep time they've had, how many external factors disrupted them in their setup. Even here, playing with the sub Vac, who's often playing on roles that are not typically where you're going to get the most value out of Vac, but obviously he's filling a role on this team. So there's been so many difficulties for them, and even from their opening day to this, they've had one day off in between to sit and prepare for who were for a long time at least the best team in the world. Who knows how this year and this roster shapes up. But it does feel like they've improved on a lot of those issues that we saw the other day. The one prevailing thing is obviously Loon being crazily aggressive, but with the hit rate he's having right now, with how successful those early fights are, I don't mind it. If he falls flat in his face 2 out of 10 times, but the other times you're getting a 2-man advantage, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he's been a real shining star, and we sort of spoke about it a couple of days ago. You're talking about a guy who it is not. I don't think he was on like everyone's radar. Everyone was fighting for like what Kayak on the other side. It's like, okay, if Fnatic didn't pick up Kayak, well, either he's staying with Apex and he's already in the league, or someone else is going to try and buy him out, because he was one of those people that you just got, okay, this is a guy who farmed the Polaris League, came into Ascension, and okay, maybe on the stage he wasn't quite as good as the expectations were like, because, well, again, he was up against some Turkish maniacs in the form of Comeback and Dwayne La Rock Johnson, who's one of my favorites, but no, I think that he has proven that he's more than deserving of being in this league, but I think that's the fun thing with Loon is, yeah, I can safely say I came into this going, I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know if he's going to be up to that standard, and the fact is he was.
Go on, Kron, follow it up. Follow it up, Kron. He has no interest.
See, that's the thing, but that's what it is. He's in the disinterest. People like the disinterest. That's why Leo's so popular.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because he does not care.
I love that. Different energy.
He's got places to be, you know?
He does. He's got reservations after this. He was expecting a quick 2-0. He might still get it.
Which direction?
Yeah, he might still get it. Hey, it's looking a little spicy out there.
He's got to now not look too happy, because people have been saying that Crashes is too happy being Fnatic.
Or he's got to just send it. Be full, over the moon. Every time he's giddy, he's got to go over the top.
Well,
I don't think that's Crashy's style.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's Crashy's style. Much chance of a GX coach following that mentality. But yeah, for now, I think Fnatic in a good spot. Excited to see what they bring to the table after this pause.
Also, I will say, don't normally have a caster bias, but Split has and always will be my favorite map. So if we happen to end up on Split, I'm not going to be complaining whatsoever. And it's one of those maps, again, we've been talking a lot about the sort of new agents within the pool. I do think there's good opportunities for Teo there as well. Like, it's a map where you're constantly trying to claim control of one side or a middle. That's where his utility really shines. Retakes, there's so many like rat corners that you're just like, I would like to nuke that, please. And that's exactly what you can do. I'm thinking about B site retakes with Armageddon. It's like, that's half the entire site. So I'm hoping we get there and we can see some new and interesting things. I also think just Vice's delay in the wall could be fantastic. So there's so many ideas on that map in particular that I think would be great. And apologies, BBL fans, I might be willing this into existence, but I like Valorant and I'd like to see more of it, please.
It is one of the more interesting spots as well, though, because even looking at, like, last night I was talking to Ulysses about this when we were watching Kawanzine playing on Split, but he was up against Ye, and Ye's playing the Chamber. You're not getting the same value, but what we're going to see from most teams, I think, in this region is obviously going to be your Cypher in play, and seeing Taeho utility up against Cypher in terms of constantly clearing out utility, constantly pushing players out of backside control. I think it'll be very interesting to see how especially a team like Fnatic adapts to that, because like you're saying, or like we've been saying, so far the agent usage hasn't been to an extent that we think everyone has to do it, but if anyone's going to convince us of that, it's these.
I do think, like, especially when you go into the second half of the last map, like that defensive side and the way that they were using Teo, that's where I think that's probably the most excited I've been for it so far, with like the plant denial, refreshing it to sort of clear backlines where normally you're going to get caught in an awkward fight. You force them into fights that are favorable for you. That I really enjoyed. I thought that was quite cool what Althea was doing with it. Obviously, again, it came down to some sort of rough scenarios that they didn't manage to close out, and also having such a poor attack side. And then you kind of look at it the other way and go, okay, well, if it was that bad on the attack side, does that mean that we shouldn't be using it because it's only going to be used for in one half? And a lot of the time your initiator is really valuable on the attack side. Like, think about how much info you get from a Sova or something else in its place, and then you start to go, okay, was this worth it? Like what you could potentially do with a Fade or a KO, etc., having those extra flashes. So it does, like, that's where the questions are being called right now of, okay, it was really good on the defense, but is it worth it still utilizing it if you can't find value for it on the attack? So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll be seeing a split, but at the same time, if BBL are going to turn this and really show again that they are a team to be feared in this tournament, I don't mind that either. And it would also send whoever loses this into that elimination match, back down into that first round lower bracket, where I don't think there's any team that I've watched so far where I've gone, they're about to get blasted. Like, every game has had its moments, been close. I think even like you go back to watching Koi, I was a little bit worried going in, but I think we saw that Filu is clearly a duelist that we do need to be watching out for, someone that I think like can bring a lot of value. So I don't know. I think I'm excited for basically every match, which I don't know if there's been a year where that's the case.
Well, yeah, I've heard word in my ear, folks. Don't you worry. The ready check's down on the stage. The players hopefully ready to dive back into things. And I've even seen Althea adjust the back of his seat. That's usually our last sign that we're about to dive back in. Getting that guy to sit back up is always a little bit of a challenge. Well, and we do get back into things.
He's just got to start being, do you remember JDM? Were you this was basically a guy in CS who would play lying all the way down.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he was an AWPer.
Right.
So he would do these like crazy flicks. So for some people, that reference will make sense. And for 98% of you, it won't.
Yep, different game, different time.
But
Tom.
he was known for lounging. That's what they said. He would lounge while he plays.
A lounger. I can see that.
I feel like that.
We have
would
the opposite of that in Valorant.
Well,
like
Red Guard
inside the screen, sniffing the characters. It's impressive.
Let's not say that.
Maybe not. Sorry, Redgar. I let your secret out.
But you got smell-o-vision.
Just scratch the screen a little bit and it works.
I know Chronicle smell anyway. He's over on that side of the map.
Oh, no. That's been a long propagated rumor. Redgar knows exactly how every pro player smells. He can identify with his eyes closed. You know, I didn't mean to let it out, man, but here we go. The truth is out.
Alpha looks ready to go, honestly.
That's about as ready to play.
He's just happy to be here. Like, honestly.
To be fair, he's had a 0-4 start on Chamber. He's
just had to sat there looking at it. I bet he's just held tab the whole time, like, this is not going to say 0 for any longer.
Well, I don't know what would annoy him more. 0-4 start, everyone can get unlucky. Then he looks up and sees 8-1 from Jake. And just knows Boaster's going to talk his ear off about this one later.
He's just looking at him. He's literally doing...
Chamber now, right?
He's doing...
Should I sit over there?
Yeah.
Swap seats.
Swap seats. Oh, God. Yeah, it's not been the start for him. But as I said, I do feel like that aspect is almost scarier for BBL, the fact that he has not popped off early. Also, to bring things slightly back into Zerbi, he has bought himself an operator. So that could be a turning point quite easily. Crashy's got the ult online as well. There's a lot going into this next round that will be exciting when we get there.
When we get there.
Yes.
It'll take a while.
I've been told soon, but as we know, soon is a...
Trademark term.
It's sort of like it's only a day away. It's like... Yeah. But in the context of the song, that's actually an infinite amount of time. So we could be here forever. We could be here forever. The worst thing is we've got Pansy up next too. So if this is us,
yeah, listen, we're
gonna be challenging the Pacific last year with their 8-hour tech pulse.
We want to see how long the French fans will stick around for a game. You know?
Hey, you know, for that game, they're sticking around.
Oh, they're gonna be here. They're gonna be here all damn day. Yeah, no, it's a fun game coming up later on. But this one, you know, last year, and it is a point that you mentioned already, Tom, the fact that there's so many teams in our league. Typically, when we start out, there's going to be hits, there's going to be misses. There's going to be teams that assemble in the off-season, good ideas, and it just doesn't work on paper. But the reality is, when you come to what we've seen so far, the only issues we've had from teams, the maps that get blown out, sure, there's always going to be those sort of things in your map pool, those things to fix. But most of the issues have been things that are pretty easily fixable. I feel like the level across the board is much closer than what we've seen in any of the other years. And look, if BBL being 1-0 up against Fnatic doesn't prove that to you, I don't know what will.
I think the fun thing as well is after last year, I think Heretics really sort of changed the mindset of a lot of people going, oh no, I've got to get these people already have VCT experience, otherwise I'm going to lose. Whereas a load of teams that maybe didn't have the best year went, youth, let's do it. Let's get someone we trust. In BBL's case, it was Yumpy. Let's bring him in. We've heard rumors here and there that Sliggy and others, I think Emil said as well, thinks he could be a good IGL. We'll make him our IGL, and then we'll pick up youngsters. We'll pick up people from Ascension and Tier 2 and the Turkish League, which we know are going to be good, and bring them to the league and see how they do. And the fact is, yeah, they've still got Chiwa to come, who I'm sure is going to add another layer to this team. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I've been told we're going back to it. The red has disappeared.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that deserves a round of applause. If it goes red again, I'm going to cry. But luckily, our producer owes us a drink every time it goes red.
It's going to be a messy night, Tom. 4-1 for Fnatic when we left you oh so long ago. That was the scoreline. Once again, we didn't sneak any rounds under your nose. It's going to be a big hit towards the A site and pressure on Alfier. 0 kills so far. Soon to change. Straight through the wall for one and Sociable onto Alpha. Catching him, fading back. It's a great punish from BBL, but he only barely survives that engagement. Same can be said for Profek. With control over the A site, though, they may get a plant out of this.
Yeah, Alpha very nearly got quite a few kills. And I think the Crashies might be there to clean up the mess, trying to predict where the next is, but they still haven't managed to get that plant in. Patiently waiting is Profek, hoping the off angle will be enough, but it isn't. Come on. I remember Yumpy on the chamber from this exact position, but it's easier said than done. It's left onto Sociable, the only man with a kill in this round, and with completely the wrong weaponry for this sort of fight.
Yeah, and maybe a kill into a gate crash into a judge spree, but it's not going to happen today. Might even want to go down. Yeah. 8 HP was easy to drop him. So 5-1, Fnatic winning that round. They did use the Hunter's Fury, which normally we could look at and say, probably didn't need it against that kind of an investment. First of all, very impactful because it stops the plant coming down. And secondly, Fnatic not only have a showstopper for this round, but one away from Rolling Thunder. With other ultimates coming online, this actually gets them into a perfect ult cycle where every couple rounds they can be dumping one as that safety net or saving them up in case things get a little dicey. BBL facing an uphill battle to say the least. Let's hope they've got their hiking boots on. Early control from Chronicle with the stun. And actually hasn't sent Sociable back in the other direction. He stuck around and he'll get his reward, but not before Vac fell.
It's trades across the map. Chronicle has definitely been one of those players to watch thus far. Loon even going to just pop the showstopper. It'll be for space rather than for kills. Sociable. We've already seen this. This attempted flank went horribly last time, but Crashies is going to win that battle. An important one. Clearing out those backlines. There isn't really that lurker anymore for the side of BBL. It's going to be a tough hold.
And tougher as they keep the 1-for-1 trades going. Fnatic close the distance, up in play for Alpha here. It's not the easiest to step into that angle. Yumpy might have a chance, but a quick shot needed, and it lands. Flash primed and ready. Loon on the swing through the smoke. Lands perfectly, and Crashies almost delivers with that transfer, but it's not quite in time. BBL, 5-2.
And again, it comes down to one. Like, I think that's what we have to talk about in this match so far. Maybe if you've just joined us or midway through the pause, there have been so many rounds that have lasted with just one player standing. The thing is, though, Fnatic have had a clean one here and there, so financially they are in a much better position. Even, interestingly, investing into the operator while having
no smokes on them.
that tour de force.
Satchel out.
They're clearly wanting to have both. See what that does. A very aggressive push. Finally manages to finish his dinner into one, and actually with the stunned up team, that showstopper goes through. Factor wins the battle, and actually Profik wins one more. That was all but set for Fnatic to take over. Well, Boaster eventually will even things up again, but that could have gone a lot better.
Yeah, fair to say that it could have. Using the showstopper, rounding the corner like that and being picked apart.
And Rolling Thunder as well.
Operator on the floor, Rolling Thunder used. We talked about Fnatic's ult economy and how they had so many advantages, being able to save them up and dump them into a round. Well, they did that right there. And they found themselves not quite a neck-and-neck position. HP favoring the side of BBL by a small margin. Boaster, though, looking for the off angle, 21 HP. The element of surprise, his best chance to drop a player, and there it is. Sociable didn't see him coming. 20 HP on Yumpy. He's in danger and has to run. 40 seconds on the clock. They have to decide where to take that spike. No knowledge on where Crashies is. They only know about Boaster. So going anywhere else, there could be two players lurking.
One gap.
But they have walked cleanly into that gap left by Fnatic.
Yeah, this was the only space that was left. They had everything else covered, and well, that will at least give the plant, and more importantly, that gives Yumpy his ult. Now, using it to effect is going to be difficult. He is so desperately low on HP, but instead, there's the re-aggression. Crashies just trying to wait for the timing, hoping the Profik doesn't expect the second player to be here. This battle is absolutely everything. Just playing that time a little bit longer could, in fact, win them the round. Now, Profik looks away. The expectation that there still could be someone there, but the doubt in his head, and he's actually repositioned maybe perfectly. It's just going to come down to this fight on the site, and Yumpy wins it. Now lift onto Crashies to try and get back in, but that time is ticking. The stun going to slow him down even further, and the HP difference, not a massive amount. Hoping to try and kill him off, but it's down to Yumpy, and he will win it as well. BBL thread the needle in this round, and they'll have themselves their third.
Not even going to use, I guess, everything that was at his disposal in that last fight. Swinging out, no utility, a rifle in hand, just running that clock right down to the wire, knowing he wouldn't have it half already. And this is where it fell apart. Showstopper, active, fired in, doesn't find its mark. Push up as well for the close fight, lost by Alpha.
They got it into a 3 versus 2. That's the crazy thing.
And not only that, the 3 versus 2 exactly, because Boaster's able to catch that kill from main, dealing the damage into Sociable, who in those situations is the man that gets them out of the spot of bother. Really nice stuff, and Vac going down again. Not going to win the fight towards the satellite. The rest of BBL now gonna have to fight in without that control.
They've got to be careful in this round still. Ultimates being utilized by Fnatic to try and pad the gap of what is a pretty horrible buy, but it's working. Already managing a couple. Yumpy with a nice shot, but he's tagged low. Sociable now going to try and clear things out, and the Cosmic Divide, they now know exactly where these players are. Should mean that they can get a plant in, although saying that, I'm just looking at both. No, in fact, it's Crashies with the spam. That's going to catch Yumpy out.
Got the spike.
From here, the plant being stuck, what is there to deny? There is still some utility that they're looking to fire in, but doing so cost Crashies his life. Profik was waiting, Outlaw in hand. An upgrade there on the floor if he wants it. He's sticking with it. Sticking with the Outlaw here. It's a risk, but it may pay off. Everyone but Alpha here will be one shot to him. Alpha, with the big gun, manages to drop one, leaving just Sociable. Already used his decoy. He's just got one flash to work with, and there's a player right beside him. He's still alive, though. Flash used now for the close fight. Lands it onto Boaster, but Alpha saves the day at the final hour. 6-3, the score that BBL are facing down the barrel of.
Could never guess how many players are alive in this round. Just the one again. Incredibly close, but it's that start. Like being able to hold on the site, getting a couple of kills from off angles, maybe a little bit disjointed from the side of BBL. And in fact, we're going to see a pause actually called from them. Still came desperately close, but this is what makes things so terrifying, with Althea having a tour de force and of course that headhunter for the late switch, just about able to close out Sociable in the end. A nice attempt. Fnatic will get themselves back onto the board, and this is what I was speaking about. Because of how close a lot of these rounds have been, a single loss for BBL was enough to pretty much obliterate their economy.
Well, that's it, and as we said before, in these rounds, they do pose a danger with those ultimates online, but they'll be coming in without them, relying on perhaps Sociable, as we see down the bottom, just a man with the Guardian, or the rest of the squad classics in hand. At this point, Fnatic, not quite close to ultis themselves. Economy posing a bit of a threat. If they were to lose here, it could open the door for BBL to fight right back up to a neck-and-neck scoreline. The problem is, it's unlikely to happen when you're investing so little. A timeout for BBL coming to an end. As they've touched base with their coaching staff. The wise words from Pal, the calming moments before the storm rages on. In just 20 seconds, see a chance for Fnatic to hammer home this victory. At least get a 7-5 at the half, locked in up against this low buy. And the main thing is, in rounds like this, when BBL have the chance, it's a player pushing up, caught out by 3 or 4 of BBL's players, hunkered down, waiting. This time, though, the attacking side's much more spread out, looking for control across the map. It's not the usual face that we see, and no success early.
Yumpy as well, 1 HP. That spray was perfectly timed to just basically dismantle this round from the get-go. The nasty shots need to be connected. Boaster really has been having a fantastic game on an individual level. Yumpy though, let's manage one with the aftershock. There's always potential for these sort of rounds to get dangerous. And that's another one.
Yumpy goes down though, spike in the open. Still though, well, that's it. Sociable falling, the rifle out of play. I was waiting for him to land another. Now it's the weaker weapons, and they're not finding any ground. Back with a Sheriff in hand. He will not find anything to report home about. 7-3. 2 rounds to play for in the half. BBL, well, they'll be investing their credits into this one. Lose this, and it is going to be a tough way to get back into Fracture.
Such a... Oh, no.
Well,
slightly misjudged
there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like that initial damage as well was just so much that coming back from it was always going to be difficult. And I'm starting to feel that way with the half in general. 7-3 up. Fnatic with a chance to find a 9-3 of their own. We haven't seen a whole lot to say otherwise. Stellar individual plays and a nice start from Alpha. That's what we want to see with that chamber. Getting aggressive, getting a pick, getting out.
That's what we've been missing for this game as well. And Fnatic, without that, still leading by such a substantial scoreline. I think Fracture, defensive side at least, clearly a comfort zone for this squad. There will be an attempt from BBL to take this to the A site, but the early utility from Fnatic is sending them back in the other direction. Much more passive hold from the defense on B. And in fact, I think it's already being abandoned. Yeah, they're stacking up A. They've had this read for a couple seconds now. BBL walking into a lot more players than they're ready for. He didn't know Kayak was behind him. Sociable blindsided, Yumpy falling, and the push coming to an instant halt.
Yeah, this would have to be one of the best clutches we've ever seen. Back left in a 1 versus 5. Already being encroached on from multiple angles. 5 players around the corner ready and waiting. And Fnatic keep that one nice and clean.
And that's a round that BBL really needed. That was their economy invested. Spanner in the works with Althayer's early aggression, but this here is where it started to fall apart. The TP from Sociable, the ult used to get on site, but not expecting a second player to be there on the stairs.
He flashes it by accident.
He does,
He's a little bit unlucky that the timing wasn't a bit better. He might have ended up getting both, but...
I mean, that's it. If he was in his ult for 0.2 of a second more, perhaps. But player saw as much as he needed to 8-3 and 9-3 half looking likely with a weaker investment from BBL and an almost flawless round from Fnatic just some moments ago. Alpha's taking risks here. He's going a little crazy. Let's see if he gets the reward. There's a player up in his face. He's TP'd out. Rolling Thunder sends him flying. Not having a good time of it, but he is alive.
I think that's going to go on one of those like Valorant Nightmare Twitter accounts. Loon, he's been having a quiet time, and well, he will get one, but that's all she wrote. Prophet, well, Boaster's cleared the angle next to him. And actually, that means Prophet can focus on the one angle where Boaster is. Puts it back into a 2 versus 2. Make that just 1, as Prophet has to do basically everything. But he lands a shot at the last second. Even looks for a little bit more. It was looking like a 9-3, but with a Red Bull clutch, 8-4. A little bit better for BBL.
Prophet delivering with those 4Ks, just the same as the first day we saw him down on that stage, looking comfortable and leading the squad 14-11 as he closes that one out. An 8-4 half. It's not the end of the world for BBL. It could have been a lot worse, but fair to say that pistol is going to carry a lot of weight for Fnatic. A bounce back after a disappointing Abyss. They'll look to take this all the way to split. Whether we get there or not remains to be seen. We'll find out after the break. Welcome back, folks. 8-4, Fnatic in the lead, doubling up on the scoreline of BBL. This pistol round could propel them towards the finish line and buy a third map for the series. For BBL, they're hoping it's the exact opposite of that. They want to fight their way back up and take this 2-0 up against what is at least theorized to be one of the strongest teams in Valorant at the moment.
Well, you get to skip a stage for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
That's the whole point of it. So if they can take them down, they're only a couple of games away from making it to a Masters, which I think that I don't even think the biggest BBL fan would have expected that. Maybe Power would, if possible.
I heard Mark New wants the trophy. It's that or nothing.
What he wants and what people expected are very different. If he didn't want the trophy, I'd be a little bit worried for him. He's like, actually, second.
I don't really care. It's whatever. They're paying me.
You know, I've heard the trophy. It's banging, but we'll have to wait and see. Already, onto the site they go. Back trying to hold the line, but the nade will deny him. Wary that he could be getting wrapped on, and in fact, he was right to be wary. Unfortunately, he's still met with a bullet from Althea. So is the fake out. They're starting to get dangerous. They're still not clearing this man, just giving him shot after shot, but they are still trading evenly. Somehow this has come down to a 2v2.
Oh, caught with the stun out as well. It was almost bad for Chronicle, but he delivers. Now that last player caught behind the boxes won't last long. 9-4 for Fnatic. This pistol round should be a nail in the coffin for BBL on Fracture. We could be looking at a very dominant scoreline coming out of this map.
Definitely seems like Chronicle has been having a field day. But then again, like, you look at Crash, he's obviously the newest player within this Fnatic roster, someone who sort of came in as a, okay, I guess we're not going to be having Leo, so we need to get someone who's going to perform, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. 15-9, had some high impact kills. Boaster slipping. He needs to get back up there. Needs a quad kill.
He needs a quad kill or he's gone. That's it's a fair call. Any tips? Let's see. A 4K for Prophet in this round would be impressive. He's got no head, so even more so.
All right, edit out all the first shots. Just leave the last
Just
one.
the last and move
Good
to the
play.
next. Easy peasy. He only bought a few bullets that round. That's why. Well, Fnatic on site, easy plants, spams through the smoke, catch Yumpy, losing your breach util for your way back in, losing your smokes. Back's not really gonna leave them without that much utility, but the cages could help to bridge the gap. Sociable, happy to pick up 1 kill, but how much more can be expected? I think 1 at most, and with the rifles or the couple pistols Fnatic had in play, they won't really be feeling the hurt of this economic dent. 10-4 for this side. Double digits reached early on. Like I said, the BBL are going to show up. It has to be soon.
Yeah, they're sort of getting the feeling that this one is moving its way towards split in a fairly quick fashion, getting that second pistol under their belt, and well, you've got the heavy hitters of stepping up over on that Fnatic side, and unfortunately the likes of Loon, who was really causing them issues on the previous map, it just hasn't been the same. Like, the Raze hasn't brought him that same level of success, unfortunately, which, I don't know, it's not necessarily a bad sign considering he didn't really play Yoru before being on this team. That I want to see more of it. It's a good sign, but for this map at least, hasn't had that level of impact.
Minute 20 on the clock, and a shift from BBL towards... Oh, actually, I thought Yumpy was on the shift towards the B side. Instead, they're moving for A main aggression, taking the space, door is open, and the walk-up is coming through. That control coming in as Fnatic slowly set up to run into that Cypher utility that is in play for BBL on B. This is a pretty good start to the round with nothing there for Fnatic to spot the flank. They just have to hope that it's watched by Crashies. Vac doesn't manage anything up top, but Crashies is at least dropped. Now that flank underway, 3 players coming through main. They're gonna have to run straight into these attackers. So much space has been given already.
And it's not like Fnatic are rushing. They've still got 35 seconds to play with. They know that these players have rotated in. They're hoping maybe an angle gets given to Alfia. Purchased an operator for this round, the one major investment here. And I think the defenders must just be a little bit confused. They've already made their way right back into the site. Now that pick comes in, but Loon is still there. Sociable is going to get stunned and forced right into the hands of Kayak. A nice little 1-2 punch. But even still, that time is ticking away. The spam not quite going to be enough to deny that plant. And now for Loon, well, we need to see some of the magic that we had in the last map if there's going to be any way for him to get back into this round. Already spotted out looking for that double peak. He does manage one, but it is an instant trade.
Yeah, really impressive just decision-making from Loon, though. As soon as he baits the first shot from the first player, he knows everyone is going to swing me, tries to step back and keep isolating fights, and he does. At any point, or most of the point, there's only 1 player on his screen, so considering he's up against a triple swing, he's done remarkably well. Just the shot's not landing in the other direction. You see the potential and how skilled of an individual he is. 11-4. BBL calling a timeout. It is a Hail Mary play. They've used both their timeouts now, and it's going to be a streak to get them back into the game. They need to dominate Fnatic with players like... I mean, realistically, if Fnatic are 11-4 up and Kayak and Alpha are a pretty significant quantity behind the rest of the pack, you know something is going wrong in your camp, I suppose. Because for Fnatic, you know, that should be a bad game, and it's absolutely not.
Maybe not. Maybe you focused on beating them, and you forgot about the rest.
Yeah, I forgot about Chronicle. It's an easy guy to forget. What's he ever done?
The thing is, I really enjoyed the way Fnatic played that round. Like, you took the initial control. I think they've realized that Vac is being left on an island, so they just went, okay, if we can get tower, they have no defense of this site at that point, but then they just wait. They know that players are going to re-aggress, and you can just see when that stun comes through. Sociable, rightfully so, goes, okay, I need to get out of here, jumps right into the remaining players. Like, Fnatic almost telegraphed exactly what their opponents were going to do. It's just a nice round from them to sort of ease their way into this attacker half, having 3 rounds in a row already. The economy of their opponents in the bin, and because of that, again, unless there's some heroics, which Sociable on a judge makes me a little bit excited, That's likely to be 12 and an 8-round streak needed, which I can't say I believe in.
I'll handle this.
It is a tall task, to say the least.
He's going for it.
He absolutely is. This is Sociable we're talking about. Stun goes in, and so does Sociable. Easy kill, and he's out of there. Didn't quite manage the upgrade of the weapon, but that's good enough for a round like this. Looks like Fnatic are going to not take this moment to hasten themselves into a site. Not go running blindly in. Instead, they've sent both Boaster and Kayak back to clear A pushes. It's going to be a slow approach.
Off angle. Nice shot here by Alpha. That's the thing. He's been incredibly patient with this operator. You think back to his debut on Fnatic, he was on the Raze and he was anything but patient. It was probably one of the most aggressive displays we've ever seen and probably one of the most dominant from a debut. For now, at least. Sociable looks like the point of contact. Players above him already just trying to hold on to the bottom of the side with the Judge and getting up close. This is a problem for the side of Fnatic, but he's down to just 5. Crashes will eventually deal with the danger. And the rest now just Sheriffs in a post plant with a Hunter's Fury. You have to fear for BBL.
Yeah, the chances were there a moment ago, but certainly fading away. Having to walk into the operator in arranged angles across the board. A squad of Fnatic who have already now cleared out A main. No pressure on them. Hold back from Alpha, not ideal. That is a part of the map they knew they'd given up, but just gambling that no one had come that way. That gives an op away to their opponents. Low HP on Crashies, he quickly falls, and with Boaster having received the first shot and the molly, you know, fading away, I think a little bit too early. That should be BBL back on the board.
Yeah, no, plenty of time in the end left on the clock. It is going to be that pay save card Thrifty that gets them over the line. And yeah, again, just seeming like a couple of mistakes here and there. Obviously, a nice start to the round from Sociable. It is fun watching him play these more aggressive agents. It's unusual that you see someone go like directly from a Sova into, okay, I'm now a Yoru Judge player. It's like, cool. Like, what happened to the guy that was there last map? And especially from someone who's not like this 18, 19-year-old whiz kid who's just come into there. That's not the case. Like, he's a veteran player that we have within the server at the moment, but
you want to play?
Seems to be working out. Tour de force, though. Well, it seems like Alpha, yeah, he was told stories of Bucky FC. He's decided to invest into one himself.
He remembers the days. Well, he watched the boys doing their shenanigans.
He remembers not being on the team.
No. But it was an era in and of itself. For BBL, good round previously, an operator on Loon. You know what this guy can do here on the attack. For Fnatic, there's going to be challenges around every corner, but ones that Alfier is looking to take head on. Operator for their opponents. He'll take the tour de force for himself, but yet to find a victim. And it is just slow takes of map control from Fnatic. Not giving away where the commitment's coming through. This could still be a fake. There's minimal steps, but now it's being heard. Profek knows they're on the way back. Doesn't quite adjust in time. Caught out by Boaster. Yumpy emerging from the smoke is an element of surprise, but not one that catches them off guard. And well, Sociable already spotted this round. Seems to have fallen apart for BBL.
And it's a horrible one as well, because the only logical thing to do here is save. Like, you just don't have the backup of finances to throw guns away, but when you're this far down in the game, you kind of understand why risks are being taken. The thing is, like, for Loon, you're not winning this round. Like, holding on to the operator just has so much more value behind it. Obviously, an extra kill would be nice, but it's just not worth it. He's stuck around way too long. And sure, the game looks like it's gone anyway, but I don't think that was the right decision.
Well, no, you imagine if he kills everybody on Fnatic, but still fails to win the round, what's the impact? Well, they still have 4 ults for the next round, unless they dump them into you for some, or 3, I suppose, because Tour de Force was already active.
Yeah.
But still, they still have 3 ults for the next round. They can probably buy. Even if they can't buy, it's going to be fine. They can wait 1 round. They've got plenty of runway to burn up here. So just a strange decision when you look at, once we get back into the game, what BBL will presumably be left with. Yeah, it's fair to say that Loon, sure, he's got a rocket launcher, but the Sheriff not going to pack as much of a punch as that operator could have. Plus, now Alpha's got an operator for free, but they already had economy.
Yeah. 4-1 anyway. Doesn't manage to connect the shot.
No damage? Oh.
Oh, it looked close, but
Pick wall.
close doesn't win anything. I wouldn't want to go across those ropes with Crashies on the other side.
I think it's a little too early for him to be there. Shooting back. For BBL, 7 rounds in a row. It starts here and
Oh, no, it doesn't.
It almost ends there as well.
4 and 5.
How have they survived
That's
that?
so cursed. And for somebody else, this could be some freebie kills. Maybe not. Vac has been having an absolute nightmare, and actually Crashies on 5 HP gets 2. If it wasn't bad enough that he didn't quite die, he's taken out a couple of your teammates with him. Prophet will dome 1. And Chronicle now the only healthy player. Has to try and be a little bit more careful in these scenarios. Bear in mind, he's the one with the spike. Look where Crashies is going. He may be
down
sociable. Just has to read. He gets it absolutely perfect. And now on just 4 HP, Prophet is going to close the round. It may not have been the kills for Loon. I feel a bit bad for him that it wasn't. But hey, he did the damage that helped in the end.
I'm assuming we're getting a replay of that one. How those players survived that, I do not know. That is, I mean... Oh, Luna's got to be fuming.
You know, they said abilities in Valorant don't kill. So there you go. They don't get kills.
Loon would have been inconsolable if they lost that round with a guy on like 5 HP after picking up a 2K. Oh, wow. Well, actually, it works out great. By letting him live, he ends up using an ultimate that now they don't have. All part of the plan. Great job, Loon. He knows his lineups.
Sociable gets closer to his ult by killing people easier, whereas the Showstopper, you know, it's not that far away. So
Loon's a great team player with a perfect understanding of rocket physics in this game. Profek not having a good time. That's a quick pick by Alphayer, and BBL looking to take up some space elsewhere. Push up on B with traps watching for the north side push. It's Yumpy trying to get in his opponent's faces. As we can see, he's made the right call by backing off. There were 2 players waiting for him to round the corner.
Once again, Sociable's got his ult. Now, normally, he has a judge, but he's going to do it with the shorty.
No.
How? No. How has he managed to survive? No, not going for more! He's an absolute nut job! I can't believe he's come out with 2 there. That's got to be a bit of a tilter. While Boaster tries to hightail it in the other direction, he is met with exactly the same result. Chronicle, he's been insane this game. 22 and 9. But he's got 70 HP, 30 seconds, and a spike on the other side of the map. If he wins this one, I'm going to tell the observers to report him, especially because he's going in the other direction. He is on orb collection duty.
Yes, sir. Build up those ultimates in case it is a long road, as we're seeing still some fight left in BBL.
10 seconds left.
Through that close corner, go back and grab the little orb for Chronicle. Nice. So, 12-7. And this comeback, it would be monumental. It would be a taste of their own medicine for Fnatic, something that they've dished out many a time. But for BBL, it does feel like a matter of time before these things stop working. This round, absolutely outrageous.
I don't understand how you're like, okay, so what happens if this goes wrong? Oh, we lose the map. Gotta give it a go, right? And I kind of respect it because it's like, yeah, that is the way you're going to get into this game, is by doing things that are crazy, but dear Lord, that was not what I was expecting.
Well, at that point, if anyone expected him to jump around the corner with a shorty on Fnatic, then fair play, give him the kill. That is an unusual play. Buys him enough time to grab one. BBL, Rolling Thunder online, ready to roll, but it's Fnatic that come in with huge advantages. The operator on Alphayer starting to pick up pace, grab some shots, and Sociable's walking right into it, but the shot baited out by the crouch. Perfect use of the hitbox, intentional or not. It's given them a late 5v5. They should be a player down by now. Showstopper, though, alongside Orbital Strike, big threats to this site push.
That's the one reason that Kayak not having a gun isn't too much of a problem.
Oh no!
Gone for the Rolling Thunder. Well, he's been met by Boaster on the other side. That is not how I expected that ult to be used. Maybe in the retake instead, though, it's Loon to go forward and go out. Vac has managed one, but it's only going to be traded. This is looking like the beginning of the end, but Profek still standing strong. Looking for more! He gets a lot more! 2 headshots through the box, and now Crashy's left standing. 1 versus 2. First shot connected beautifully, and it seems like he even expects the rough position of Sociable. Rifle in hand this time. Not the op to hit the shot, but it's waiting on Crashy's side instead, but he can't quite hit it. A very nice attempt, but it will be another round for BBL. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I don't even have one.
Profek, again, he's delivering these ridiculous rounds. How does he get away with that? We need to see this in the replay. Initial fight's good, everything's standard gameplay. This was nice, the turn around, the shot, I believe on the Boaster to start with. Clean as can be, and immediately
through 2 walls.
Through 2 walls, headshots on both accounts as well. And Pal, yeah, Pal's face makes up for it.
Pretty nice.
What was that? Just pure shock. 4 rounds to go, and it's starting to look doable. So much so that Fnatic are going to call a timeout of their own. They are willing to let BBL speak to their coaching staff because they think if they don't get involved here, this spiral, this tailspin is going to go all the way to the ground.
It's weird because the way they're losing rounds is it's not really something that you can like go, okay, how do we stop a guy using his ultimate, pulling out a shorty, then reloading it and jumping back around a corner and killing us with shorty? How do we stop a guy from swinging us and killing us through a box and a wall? It's like, these are things that it's just like, well, ultimately, you've either got to not put yourself in the position to take that fight, which in a 2v1 swing, if a guy kills 2 of you through a wall, I don't really blame you that much.
You didn't get me wrong, no.
So it's kind of like, do you stop taking fights, which will probably lose you the game even faster, or do you just go, lads, we just got to chill, it's probably not going to happen 4 more times in a row, but the problem is with BBL, it might. It genuinely might. They've done so many ridiculous things in this game, even going back to the first map with Loon doing it, and you have to feel like eventually he's going to do something that works. Because a lot of his stuff has sort of failed when it comes to the Rays.
It hasn't landed. I think there will be adjustments to that. BBL, 4 in a row from this point, up against Stingers to start with. Weaker weapons in the hands of a team led by Boaster. Many a mighty team has fallen to such a buy, to such a thing, to such an economic bottom line. Back the first, the dish out death. Danger though around every corner as BBL are discovering already. Man advantage falls to Fnatic. Push through the smoke from back, but they're in a smoke of their own, contained, and a swing together. Nets another kill. Advantage on advantage for the attacking side. And the B site now taken with nothing to say about it is Yumpy. He's trapped up top, a close-ranged fight against close-ranged weapons. Guess how that goes? Not in his favor. Sociable, the last man standing, and the headhunter finds its mark. A pay safeguard Thrifty to buy us a 3rd map. We're going all the way to split.
That's what I wanted to see. It might have taken a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but we have made it to split in the end. The greatest decider between BBL and Fnatic. We'll be back after the break.
One enemy.
Hello! Hello! Yeah, but I can't hear you, Yumpy. I can't hear you anymore. Damn!
Red Bull gives you wings.